Bleak blog, 15th of May 2010, car. I got a brand new car, bright blue, decent size, with a dashboard like the flight deck on the Starship Enterprise. The wing mirrors move if you press a little fob. It's got a refrigerated ducat and a leather gear knob. So there was a fruitful courtship dance between the magic sparkly fairy of 0% finance and the bloke she lured back to her pad, the chief executive in the bank of my dad. And now he phones me up with vague excuses and steers the conversation round to what he deduces is my unfathomable female incomprehension regarding the man stuff car technology dimension. He goes, "Now number 2, I don't intend to nag, but about that supplemental restraint system airbag, and could you have feedback, given I'm a major investor, in how you're finding the paddle shift gear selector?" And I remember the old D Reg Corsair that he drove in the 70s for year after year, and how, as a teenager at the time, for me it was just a subject of endless ignominy. It wasn't just that it ran and ran, but that we used it to tow a Sprite Alpine caravan. Breaking down on holiday was habitual. If we hadn't done it, wouldn't have been like a holiday at all. Chewing gum on the Autobahn hard shoulder so that later we could use it to plug the holes in the radiator. We broke down in Calais, we broke down in Andair, we broke down every bloody where. Concerned foreign people would cluster around and say words of concerned sympathy, and I'd be like, hey, doesn't everybody do this on their holiday? The 80s Thatcherism, no car, dole queue, and all men were rapists so far as we knew. So there's only one really sensible thing left to do. I'd stand by the roadside with my thumb out looking tough, going, "Go on, pick me up if you think you're hard enough." And I remember the lorry driver pulling in, headlights flashing, hydraulics hissing, and his CB radio handle across the windscreen, the Beaver Hunter, emblazoned in green. I scrambled up next to him on my high chair going, "That's a funny name you've got stuck up there." And he had the grace to blush and then say, sheepishly, "That's just something my wife used to call me." He took me for a fry-up and a greasy spoon, made a kindly detour mid-afternoon, dropped me off at Greenham Common by the light of the moon. There was no sexual harassment or scenes of slaughter. He said that I reminded him of his daughter. The cherry on the cake, as I went to climb down, he gave me a tenner to get the bus home. If it hadn't involved such a major loss of face, I'd have invited him in to embrace the base. In the wood-smoked night, I stood and shivered. It was a bit politically embarrassing, all things considered. The 90s endless litany of knackered old banger agony, 4 a.m. and the alternator's gone. Coming back from a gig in London. Couldn't even get the hazard lights on. He's raging and reeling on the hard shoulder, off his face on something or other, and of course no insurance or breakdown cover. The police, the local pickup truck, blood and guts at the cash point. Fuck my luck. And then fast forward to 2010 and the whole world is golden. I got a brand new car, bright blue, decent size, with a dashboard like the flight deck on the Starship Enterprise. The wing mirrors move if you press a little fob. It's got a refrigerated ducat and a leather gear knob. I've scratched both the wing mirrors trying to get it in the garage, so now I cover them with 2 hairy walking socks, extra large. There's a couple of other problems that I can see, like when the North Atlantic conveyor stops, it'll be partly down to me. And the horn's not loud enough, it's just a feeble toot. But I can get my Fender Twin in the boot.